So it's May 18th, 2023, and Nacho just messaged me just with a few comments about the anniversary it is today. It was 6 years ago, it's 2017, May 18th, 2017, when Chris Cornell died. And I'm just kind of, I don't even know why I'm doing this. I'm just kind of documenting my thoughts here. I remember my brother-in-law Frankie messaging me. It's about 5 o'clock in the morning, and getting ready to leave the house, but to brush my teeth at the sink, and I hear my phone and look at the message, and it says Chris Cornell died. And it hit me like so hard. I literally dropped my phone and I fell back. I caught myself, and then I went down to the floor, and I just kept saying no. Like I didn't want to believe it. I was panicked, and I wouldn't look at my phone. I wouldn't look at any media. I wouldn't, nothing, because I was terrified that it might actually be true. So I quickly got ready, got my truck, drove to the shop, and again, I wouldn't listen to anything on the way there. And then I asked him, "Are you sure it's true?" And he says, "Oh yeah, it's everywhere. It's all over the place." And then I asked him what happened, and he said they're not too sure yet. They haven't released that. So that was tough. But the funny thing is, like, I never met Chris Cornell, right? But it took something out of me that he was suddenly gone. I can't really explain it, right? I used to see people that would cry when celebrities would die. I don't think, oh, you're being so dramatic. Like, stop, right? Thinking like they're just like seeking attention or whatever. But this wasn't. Like, I felt something big taken out of me, and it like just like something would never be the same again. I think partially like it represents an era that I was part of. It was a big icon for me. Interviews, I always felt connected to him. Musically, I did, but more so as a personality, I just felt very connected to him, and lyrically and as an artist. I always felt like all of the best parts of me that I could find were like just his regular parts, right? I got a lot of bad parts, but just like, the few good parts that I could find would, if you know what I mean. But so that morning it was tough, just trying to come to terms with it, and I kept thinking like, oh my God, and I was very upset. And then I came back into the shop a couple hours later, and he says, so they released what happened. Do you want to know? And I said, yeah, well, what happened? And then when he said it, like, again, it was even harder to accept, I guess. Hearing suicide, I didn't want to believe it, because I just thought, no, he wasn't like that. He wouldn't do that. He had a family, he had kids, and I started crying. Really, it was sad. It was very sad. But what point am I getting at? I don't even know what point I'm getting to. Just Chris Cornell was an incredible artist, amazing lyrics, very vivid lyrics, and as a vocalist, absolutely incredible. I think anybody, even if you don't like Soundgarden or Chris Cornell solo stuff, you can't deny that as a singer, he's got an incredible range. So, yeah, May 18, Chris Cornell Day. I was saying to my brother too that so his estate released an album called No One Sings Like You Anymore, and I remember that when the first song showed up on my phone, and they didn't announce that they were doing anything, and the first song that showed up was Patience. He did a cover of Guns N' Roses' Patience, and again, when that popped up unexpectedly, and I freaked out because I thought I'd heard everything from Chris Cornell, right? And then suddenly there was something new, but he had been gone for, I don't remember what year it was. I think it was a year later that they released that. So that was it was beautiful though, and then they released the whole album, and it was beautiful to be able to have that. And they called it "No One Sings Like You Anymore," which is a line from Black Hole Sun, and it's funny that they would, they're referring to Chris, that no one sings like you anymore, which I agree, because now there's so much of this auto-tune stuff. What am I saying? So they named it "No One Sings Like You Anymore," which was a line from Black Hole Sun, which when he wrote Black Hole Sun, I don't think he was referring to himself, that no one sings like him. He's said in interviews before, the Black Hole Sun, it was a lot of just like random lyrics coming from just imagery of different things he was picturing, and it all just kind of strung together and flowed. Remind me of things that I had read of, like Jim Morrison, the way he used to write songs and poetry sometimes too. So I don't think he was speaking of himself, but then it turns out that it's a perfect description of himself. And often people don't realize what they are, or how important they are, or how big they are until they're gone, but then they don't realize it, right? Like I was saying, Elvis didn't think that he had done that well. He knew he'd done well, but he didn't really like attain his goals. He wanted to be an actor. And he thought musically he did okay as a performer, but he was kind of, apparently, obviously I didn't know Elvis, but apparently he was kind of saddened thinking that he hadn't really succeeded. But wow, like here we are, like to this day, he's huge, right? People are selling stuff just with his name on it, right? And that's life, right? People don't really realize what they are or how important they are. And often they're further acknowledged once they're gone, or further appreciated once they're gone. And some people, while they're here, they think they're of little relevance. And I guess that's what suicide is, right? People thinking it doesn't matter if they're gone. People thinking they won't be missed, or maybe they think they will be missed, or maybe they think some people will be better off without them. I have often heard people speak of somebody who commits suicide saying, "Oh, how can they be so selfish to do that to their family?" But I do believe that most people doing that somebody that commits suicide, I think that they believe that their family is better off without them. Maybe they think their family doesn't care, maybe they think their family does care, but that they don't need them, and that it's just easier for everybody if they're not there. They're not seeing how devastated they're going to leave people and the hole that they're going to leave in the world. So I would hope anybody struggling with that kind of thing would look for help. There is all kinds of help out there. There's a lot of it that's promoted. Might not always be the best way, but any way is worth trying, right? There's always another way. That was a song I wrote years ago. There's another way. That was about not committing suicide, right? Because where there's life, there's hope. Once you're dead, that's it, right? As long as you stay alive, there's hope. Things can change. Things will change if you stay alive. But if you give in and die, that's it. That's the end. So, always reach out if that's what's going on. May 18th, Chris Cornell Day. Those are my thoughts.